Okay, actually, alright, well, let's try and do this video. Okay. 150-year-old September the 11th reference, and potentially re-referenced in Back to the Future. Okay. This is a pretty famous picture right here. I come across this as a wee whippersnapper of a lad. It was in one of my little books when I was growing up. I had a little book on trains. So I can recall seeing this picture when I was a youngster. And what this is this is essentially the meeting of the two sides, the east and west, the two railroads meeting up to form the first transcontinental railroad, of the United States, right? It wasn't completely finished. There was bits and pieces missing, all the way through the network still, but this was the big milestone event, okay? And I'll just say it now. Eventually, this thing ends up going to San Francisco. All right. So what we want to do now, because that's going to become relevant later. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to talk about this a little bit. So why is this a 911 reference? Well, we're going to get straight into it. Right. What actually ends up happening here is on the 8th of May, they do like a little ritual, the final spike that goes into the railroad tie. Okay, if you're from England, the railroad tie is the railway sleeper. Okay, that's the piece of wood that goes across the two tracks. Okay, or under the two tracks to support the two tracks. Okay, and what is driven in to hold the rail down is a peg, which is a spike. Okay, that thing's driven into the tie, and that holds the rail in place. Okay, now so they have this gold spike. Okay, the gold member. Okay, the gold member. Is Austin Powers referencing this as well? I don't know. So have the gold member, and that thing sticks in this tie, right? And so what they use for the tie is they use California laurel wood. Okay. On the dollar bill, those leaves and berries that we do our decode with, that is, I believe, some form of laurel. Okay. And so the laurel, or the Lorraine, okay, that's the feminine part of the metaphysical part of the whole system. Yeah. And then we have the spike, the golden spike. Yeah. The sun, the spike being the phallus symbol, which is, again, that is physical mankind, or the physical side of our reality, physical nature. Okay, that thing entering into the laurel, which is the fiction. Yeah, is the metaphysical. Okay, so we've got a nice little reference straight away to the completion thing, which is 1 going into the 0. Yeah. Okay, 10. This is why 10 is so important for the completion. Because at the point in which the member hits the bullseye, yeah, Odysseus's arrow shoots through the eye of the axe head. At that point, that's when we're back with God. All right, that is that is, why I'm laughing there. That is the point at which you feel bliss. That is the point at which you are balancing both sides of reality, right? Yeah, when you can look at one side of reality and the other side and be in the middle. Yeah, super important, because being back with God is about being back in balance, because God is balance, right? So we have that little ceremony. So then they open up on May the 10th for traffic. So we've got a 5/8 reference. Yeah, the 5/8. If we go to the chart of Lorraine, that I call it, yeah, the 5/8 right here, yeah, okay, 5/8, those two, oh bloody hell, right here. And then we've also got it in our total here, the 5/8/8, okay, in our total column, which is the total backwards from this point, okay, it's coming over from 1 or 0 to 10. These are all our totals, right? So the 5/8, very important, yeah. And of course the 5/1 here, the 10th of May, is also very important because that is the 51 or the 15, and we'll go into some numbers here in a minute. Right, let's look at these two trains now, because it gets a lot better than this. This is just the precursor warm-up to this whole thing, okay? Let's look at the two trains already. We can already see, what I'm going to be talking about here. Here's the one, and here's the womb, okay? And there's a 0 that enters into this thing, into the funnel here, okay? This is the womb, and this is the wiener, okay? And these two things are meeting at this point, okay? Noses are touching. The cow catchers on the front of the train is now touching each other, okay? Here's the two hands meeting here, yeah? It's like the creation of Adam, okay? That picture, is Michelangelo picture, with God up here with his hand coming down, doing the old E.T. thing with Adam. Okay, that's like what's going on here, okay? The two things finally meeting back up. The two winged angels joining back across, okay? This is the symbolism. All the same stuff. Now, the cow catcher. You've got to catch the holy cow, okay? The divine cow, yeah? The moon. Okay, where do I want to go from here? Let's just go on to these trains, okay? Because this is where it gets really interesting, as I was just saying. No. Okay, this is actually what got me looking at this. I was looking at quarters because I thought, with all the stuff with the quarters and the quarter code and everything, I probably ought to do another video because I've covered these before. These commemorative quarters, but this one stood out to me because, of course, we got like the twins here facing each other, and then we've got the phallus symbol, the symbol of the physical right here, So I was like, I'm gonna have to do this one. But this is what got me looking at this whole thing, and you won't be disappointed. So here's the first train. Here's the one with a funnel, okay, called Jupiter. Oh, and Odysseus does his 20-year voyage to return, after the Trojan War, and we call that the Odyssey. His return, his voyage home is the Odyssey. Yeah, Dave Bowman coming back to God, right? And when we look up in the stars, this is what Jupiter does. Jupiter comes back in alignment with Saturn about every 20 years or so. Okay, so we have that conjunction. This is the story again. This is the sun. This is Dave Bowman. This is Odysseus right here. This is man. Yeah, man has fallen. Yeah, look at the number. We got 60 on the front of here. The six of man. Okay. Now look at the colors. This guy is also clad with this thing, the spirit. Yeah, and it's got the funnel with him. Yeah, the matrix. Yeah, this can be divine or it can be unholy. Okay, it can be the man-made version of the thing. Okay, and well, we'll come on to it in a minute. But if it was like the other train, just straight up looking at nature, okay, then this thing wouldn't be a funnel. Okay, it'd just be straight up and down. Okay, and this will become relevant. What I'm talking about here, this will become relevant. If I could speak tonight, this will become relevant when we look at Back to the Future. Okay, so here's the train for Jupiter. Right now, this gets. Just gonna look at this now. Okay, here we go. Oh, train 119. 119. Okay, so 119 is representing God, is representing Saturn. Interesting, isn't it? Black and red, but 119, okay, and again, 119, remember, the 11 sign, okay, just flip it on its side, it's the equals sign, okay, it's balance, right? The 1 is LL, yeah, L even, okay, God, right? When those two things are even, yeah, that is God. Okay, now that's what was removed in 2001. This thing disappeared, essentially. Okay, but you know, this is the savior right here, the physical world. Yeah, this is what this represents, the physical world. And with Jupiter, yeah, with Dave next door right there, that thing's been lost. It's been surrounded by the womb. All right, that big funnel, okay, that's on there. Okay, the matrix has surrounded this thing over with this dude. Yeah, now it will become more relevant as we go through this. So here's our, so we've got our 911 reference, and well, it gets better than this, because if we go, before we do the numbers, let's go and do the Back to the Future stuff. Okay, so you can see where this is in Back to the Future, and then we'll decode these numbers a bit further. Okay, so Back to the Future, here's the train, Back to the Future. Okay, so we have the funnel on here. We don't have no blue. I think they left the blue off because, again, at this point in time, okay, this thing, okay, when we're at this point in time, these things have just met. Okay, so this is the full glory right here. You know, this is the Holy Spirit with man. Okay, and this matrix that's here, that's fine to have that matrix. Okay, but at the point in which these two things meet back up, this thing is controlled by man. Let's put it that way. You know, we can see that man is kind of, you know, we've got the red of Jupiter, you know, the blood moon here, which means that the Earth is back between the moon and the sun, okay, between physical and metaphysical. So we've got this kind of blue it's not taken over the whole train, has it? Okay, and we've got this hint of God still underneath as we look at the other train, yeah, with the red wheels and the black. Okay, so we've got this balance going on with this train. Now, when we go back to the Future, it's all black. Yeah, even the blooming wheels are black. Okay, we've got the white writing, but we've got to have some color on there, or non-color, some color so we can have something on the train. So anyway, this thing's black, right? And that is the black pearl. Yeah, this is why I think we've got white on here rather than red or anything else. This is to reference the black pearl. Yeah, so we've got this hint of the moon still underneath, and this is again the moon in the corona. Yeah, with the white outline. So we have the funnel on here. Okay, and what's important in this, at this point, yeah, as Marty's trying to get to that back to that point where the two trains are going to touch again, the track isn't completed here, but when he does get to the point, you know, of no return sort of thing, he does make that leap back to God, okay? And so he's saved, but this thing dies in the process. This black version of the train dies, okay? So this is like Marty's ego, if you like, dying. I know that don't make much sense, probably to some people that are just new to this, but okay, we're going to click through here because there's some interesting stuff that happens. There's some interesting numbers on the line and the 131, and we can do all those numbers another day because I don't want to make this too long, right? What happens here, right, is we're about to see this thing blows up. Okay, so we have another reference to the dismantling, let's put it that way, of the matrix, okay, which is what's I think about to occur, you know, over the next several years at least. What else do we got going on here? I think I pretty much talked through that, but anyway, what happens is Marty is pushed, basically is pushed back to the future. I don't think there's anything else I want to say in here, okay, and we kind of have Doc sacrifice, you know, Doc has to make the sacrifice, you know, and oh, I don't know, I don't even want to, let's not even go on about it. Anyway, but what happens is Marty makes it back to the future, okay, and he comes across, actually, let's look here. He comes across, oh, there we go. What are we looking at here, Dan? Come on. No, that's the wrong, we don't want to look that way, we want to look this way. Okay, comes across the Golden Gate Bridge, yeah? That transcontinental, say transcendental then for a second, transcontinental railroad, okay, comes to this point, to the Golden Gate Bridge, yeah, the bridge that joins the two sides of reality, the Golden Gate, okay, the thing that everybody's looking for. Okay, Marty's already come back across here, and of course the DeLorean that caused all the trouble is now destroyed as well, yeah, because that's another, you know, that's another metaphor for the Matrix in the film, okay. It's just amazing how many references are just the same reference, just in a different format through this whole film. Okay, they're looking for the train but here he comes. Hang on, look, come on, Doc, where are you at? Here we go, and here comes the train. Okay, look at the train. See if we can get a better picture of the train. Come on. Here's the train. Okay, it's not very clear to see, but we have some red elements in here now. Okay, I'll click onto it in just a second, but note, I don't know if you can see my cursor. Here it is up here. Look at the two chimneys. Two chimneys. Okay, the Twin Towers here have returned. Doc, for the most part through this film, is playing the character of God, you know, or the metaphysical, yeah. And here he is returning again. He's returned back to Marty. Essentially, we've had the meet-up of the two trains now, okay? And here we go. We've got the stack here, but they've doubled down on it on this one to reference 9/11 a bit better, and they've put the 2 in here for the 11, okay? Unbelievable. I don't know if I can get a better picture of the whole thing. You can see the elements of red in here now, okay? And of course, yes, L has returned, and here's the 8 right here, okay? Okay, so L and the 8, okay? The number of man, 8. Again, I don't know what else to say. There's nothing really more I want to say in here, okay? The people that wrote this is not, I mean, just look at the double stacker there. This is not people that they know fully all about all of this knowledge, okay? You can listen to Bob Gale like doing an interview, and he's just lying out of his teeth when he says, "Wow, well, we didn't really know, and this, it just happened that way. Some people think we predicted 9/11, blah blah blah. Liar. But anyway, I think that's it. That's it for what's going on here. Let's do some more sort of decode of the numbers now, okay? Because this is, again, it's a good opportunity to look at the Saturn and the Jupiter reference, okay? So let's not get too bent out of shape with Saturn. People, oh, Satan this, Satan that, and when the thing's balanced, I mean, just look at Saturn right now. It's the bullseye. The thing we're aiming for, the bullseye, yeah, big eye in the sky, right? But people get so bent out of shape. Oh, Saturn is Satan. Saturn is Satan. Yeah, the same way as Mary is the Matrix as well. It depends on whether the thing is balanced, okay? Because we're dealing with metaphysical ideas, they're kind of the same thing, okay? The blue and white Mary, Mother Mary, the Holy Mother, is kind of the same thing as the black Madonna, okay, weeping over the dead child. It's the same sort of set of stuff. It's just flipped a little bit. It's like the positive and negative sign, okay? One thing's in balance, one thing's not in balance, yeah? You look at God, Saturn, in balance. When it's not in balance, it's Satan, okay? It's just that simple, basically. Anyway, what we got here? We've got a cross with an ear. An ear. An ear. All these ear references I've been getting with the old Sergeant Scott Andrew, was it Andrew Scott in Universal Soldier with the earring, okay? Might be why the earring is important in, I'm thinking of that Madonna film now, Desperately Seeking Susan, the earrings. Okay, one had one earring on, the other had the other earring on. Now here's one earring, let's look at the other earring. Jupiter, let's look at the symbol for Jupiter. Oh, well, they look very similar. There's a cross with a little curly thing. Yeah, there's a cross with a little curly thing. Very similar, almost like they're in the image of one another. Again, one had one earring on, one had the other earring on. Okay, let's look at numbers. I want to do numbers in these things, okay? Because, some people, the 21 and the 24 here, obvious. You kind of got the 5 here, and maybe a 1 as well, 51. So you can pick out some easy numbers. Right here, we got I don't know if you can see my cursor, but the 7 and the cross here as well. So you can kind of get some numbers out of here. So let's go to a little doodle thing here and we'll do the numbers real quick, okay? And I'm looking at the numbers for Saturn first, but you can kind of superimpose these numbers on one another, okay, because they're kind of the same symbol just turned around a little bit. But anyway, the first thing is the 11, the cross, yeah? When you've got just one by itself, right, and you want to mark a perfect balance, you've either got to have this 11 floating like this, with the same length bars, okay, or again here we can just cross them and we get a central point right here of balance, right in the middle here, okay, that's the 11, okay, and that forms the cross and that is the bullseye in the middle, okay. Very rudimentary, but so we've got that right here with the Saturn symbolism. Okay, we've got that cross, so we've got that number 11 or number 4. Okay, and that was that 7. So we can have a, like here we can wangle this to like a backwards upside down 4 and a 7, and we can just count the bars here as 4. Okay, and we can call that, or we could call that 11 7, and you know, so forth and so on. The curly Q now, well, of course we can get the 5 right here, okay, from the curly Q, and we can, you know, this can still be the 11, so 11 5 5 11, and I've got more written down here, and then we can kind of finish this on out like this, okay, and make the 9 11. Okay, so these are the kind of numbers that we can pick out here. We can go a bit further and fudge it a bit more and get some more numbers, but for the most part 9 11 really sticks out to me right here, you know. 5 11 really sticks out to me, yeah, the 5 11, you know, the 5 right here, okay, and then the 11 right here. All right, so the 5 11 and the 9 11, 7 11 a little bit, but really those two are the main ones that really stick out to me. And of course you can get a 4 7 as well. The 47 is the thing that surrounds. Okay, let's go to the chart of Lorraine. The 47 is, gosh, I don't try and do this. The 47 here and the 47 here is the thing that surrounds what's essentially a 9 11 if you reduce this 18 down. Okay. Another interesting thing is this 29. I think it's 29.5 years though. Jupiter's orbit. Okay, so we have that 29 with Jupiter again. Saturn, sorry. Saturn's orbit is 29.5 years. So we've got some interesting stuff going on. Let's run back to this again. So we got these numbers, and you can pick out some other numbers. You can turn this around to make the 54. And of course 254 is 911, and you can flip some of these other things around. Of course you can flip this thing around to 611 if you really wanted to, but we're not going to do that because we're going to look at, well, actually the reason why we don't do that is because remember the number on the front of Jupiter was 60. Okay, and what happens when man falls, yeah, when man falls, the 9 becomes a 6, yeah. So this 9 of God, yeah, 9 is the, look at it's the G as well. Okay, so God, when you jump off the building and you fall in the hanged man, okay, the upside down man is the man falling, yeah, or is man, you know. The hanged man is Jupiter, yeah, is Dave, right? So can you see that? This is the image of this, right? Again, with the cow catchers touching, with the hands touching like E.T., the Adam and God here, okay, the fingers touching E.T. style. You got that, yeah? One is in the image of the other. Now, what else do I want to say about this? Let's go and we can just click on the Jupiter now. Okay, well, we got and again, so if we finish this out, okay, it's a 9, but if we finish it out, that's also a 6. Okay, and we've got the same sort of stuff going on. The 24 is Christmas Eve. Okay, the Eve again, where man's stuck at the minute, stuck in Eve. What else did I want to say about this? 21, coming of age, yeah, and of course if we'll do some number jumps in a minute, but if it's happens after 9/11, you know, this Hoover Dam event, if it happens after 9/11, then we're looking at 21 years, okay? 2/11, if we look at the chart, 2/11, there's a slight little, what do I want to do here? The chart of rain, okay. 2 here, go across to the 11, yeah, so this is, you know, this is like man, if you like. I guess the birthday of man, if you want to call it that, which is analogous. God, I can't speak at all. With Christ's birthday, because we can do some interesting little jumps. Okay, and again, here's the 521, the 12, and the 25 of Christ's birthday. Okay, the 13th man, if you like. The baker's dozen, you know, this is interesting with the baker and the body of Christ being bread. The baker's dozen, the 12 apostles, and Christ. Okay, I know there's other people that they name as the 13th apostle, but or 13th disciple or whatever, but the 13th man here, we can actually get this the 2 1 3 up here gives us this set of numbers here. So, and we can also do some other adding up numbers here, some totaling that will take us to Christmas as well. We can total up these numbers right here, okay, and we can go from this date right here with that total 315 days, and it takes us to Christmas. Okay, what I'm trying to get to is this is the beginning here, and this is the end. 2 is the beginning and 11 is the end. Okay, right. Okay, this 199 happens to be a 187 day of the year. Okay, I'm kind of losing track where I'm going now. But I want to say, go back to this. What was I talking about? 2, 4. I've completely lost where I was going with this now. I can't think there's actually that much more to say about this, to be quite honest. Was there anything else to say about this? I don't think there was. The last thing to do is we need to come back to some number day jumps, okay? Okay, when we remember the dollar bill decodes, where's my dollar bill? When we remember the dollar bill decodes, and for people that are new to the channel, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about here, you gotta go back and look at some of my dollar bill decodes. But what happens is when this thing is finally folded together, yeah, where the 1 finally returns to the O, this portion of the shield here comes back over to here, okay? The body of man returns back to the metaphysical over here, yeah? This joins up perfectly, okay? And what we end up with is a 10-11. We have the 10 written on the outside with the 11 in the middle, okay? Important symbolism. Absolutely nuts how they come up with this stuff, but 10-11, okay? That is the return date. Now, well, let's go to the adder. If we go from September the 11th and we add on that 60, yeah, the number of man 6, but on that train we got the 60, okay, it takes us to November the 10th. That is the day on the dollar bill there, okay, the day we've been looking at, or I've been looking at, or well, I guess, well, whatever, to do with Back to the Future more so, is is the day that's basically in between these 2 days, okay? And so if we go in between, which again, 3 is, I want to say 3 is again, that's again to do with the conjunctions of Saturn as well, the 3. But anyway, oh dear, Dan, get to the point. If we do the 30-day jump, which is in between, look where that takes us, okay? October the 11th, okay? In Back to the Future, they do the 2 30-day jumps. Now, is something going to happen on October the 11th, or is it going to happen on the 10th of November? Okay, because, you know, this is all in Back to the Future, but in the dollar bill, we're looking at, and the question is Back to the Future referencing this day as the day that something happens, or is it referencing this day to get us to this day down here? The same set of numbers, okay? The 314, the pi, the finish of the pi, yeah? I don't know. What's interesting about this, look at this as well. The 10th of November, what's preceding the 10th of November? 9/11, okay? The fall of the eve again, okay? I'll tell you what's interesting as well is look on the other side, 11/11, but remember November is named for the 9th month, Nov, okay? Now if we go back to 11/11 and we change the 11th of November to Nov and change it to 9, okay? Did I say, I'm so tired. Did I say named for the 9th month? I hope I did. When we change that month over to 9, we have a 9/11 the following day as well. I mean, that's pretty trippy in itself right there. We've got 9/11 essentially on either side of this thing. On either side of this thing, the 10th, okay? And here's our 5/1 reference again, back with Saturn, okay? And remember the 5th of November, encoded in the dollar bill with the quarter code and so many other things. And when we add on 5/11 to 155, which is like one of our main jumpers, yeah, in our dollar bill decode, when we add those two together, we get 666, okay? You know, our main jumper is right here, 5/11 right here, or 155 right here in this first column, yeah, all to do with that 11. And two of the numbers that we could get out of the symbol for Saturn, the 4, the 7, the 11, and the 5. Can't do down. The 5, 5, and the 11. Yeah, these numbers right here, the L again, forming the figure L here. Okay, super interesting, super interesting. I think I've got to leave it there. I don't think there's really anything else. I probably missed some stuff out of here, but with waffling so much, it just makes a video so blooming long. Anyway, that is the video. Okay, I will catch you. There will be. I've got to do some number jumps. I still haven't really done my number jumps for the sort of all the Back to the Future stuff, and you know, there's actually a really big number jump. And in fact, shall I do it now while we're on this video? Because I might as well just lump it in here. Because I guess if I do another video, maybe I'll have most of the number jumps done. But remember, you know, we're dealing with L's, okay? And the capital L is the 7, all right? And here's the 7 here. This is important, 7. Because 7/11, what Donald Trump called it, okay? Well, if we do 7 times 11, okay, that's 77, okay, and that's the year Elvis dies, okay, and I've done all the codes with Elvis before, and so this is kind of important, right? Because we're kind of referencing this right here, okay. Now 77, okay. Let's go to this thing real quick because I might as well do it in here. So September the 11th, right? Now remember, October the 11th and November the 10th are our other dates, okay? Now let's put in 7,700 days, and let's go back to the original 2001 September the 11th. Now let's click and see where that takes us, okay? Wowzers, it takes us to October the 11th. Interesting, Dan. That's not the number on the dollar bill, though, Dan. You know, it would have been more interesting had that been the number on a dollar bill. But it is interesting. It's October the 11th because I got some other stuff to do, you know, with this here in another video. Hang on a minute. Let's put in October the 11th just for shits and giggles, and let's see where 7,700 takes us from there. Okay, so we've got our target date put in up here now. Let's click it and see where it takes us. November the 10th. Okay, we've got 2022, but that we're starting right here. And let's change this back to 2022 now. Okay, 2043. Okay, but what what we're seeing is we're jumping. It's just interesting. We're jumping from October the 11th to November the 10th. Okay, and backwards as well. And if we do September, we're going to October. And if we do October, we're going to September. We're going to November. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's it really. I just thought it was interesting that we do the September. Let's just go back through it one more time. We do the 7,700 days from September the 11th. Okay, and it brings us to October the 11th, 2022. Okay, and if we did the same jump from October the 11th, it's going to bring us to our other date, November the 10th. Okay, and we can add it on. When I originally did it, I just added it on to October the 11th, 2022, and it took us to 43. Okay, I did it to this. And I did that, and it brought us to 243. Okay, now the 43, another important number there. So I thought that was interesting with all the Elvis references. Okay, I think that's it really. I don't know. The other interesting thing about the 77 is when we do, you know, this thing here, when we have this curly Q right here. Okay, when you like they did here, when you put that thing all straight, okay, that's a 7. So that means we've got a 7 with Jupiter as well, a 77 and a double cross. I don't know. Just interesting to see some of the stuff I'm getting onto there next. That's it. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, cheers, bye.